What's up, IDP Army? Jermaine Jordan Reigns at 50 Shades of Drunk. You already probably know that, but if it's your first time here, that's who I am. This is the IDP Army YouTube channel, company brand, whatever you want to call it. We are going to be talking kind of through our IDP Week 7 rankings right now, but more or less, we're going to be helping y'all, do some Q&A, start sit, maybe pick some guys up, dealing with some injuries, help you get those decisions made. Rankings are available, idparmy.com, myself, Mace, Bombers rankings as well. Go check those out there. We'll take a look at those today, but like I said, most of them are going to be answering your questions, helping you guys make some start sit decisions, and hopefully win this Week 7 matchup. So stick around. It's going to be a good show. Want to give a shout out to the Patreons. As usual, they keep the lights on around here. You can become a Patreon member for 5 weekdays, quarter a day. That's our lowest tier. Support the channel. You know what I'm saying? Give us a little kickback. We're out here. We're doing the Lord's work. We're giving you guys IDP fantasy football goodness, not just for you to win your league, but we're out here trying to grow the brand, grow the segment, grow the format, whatever you want to call it. We're trying to do that. Bring more people into the fold, bring more people's eyes a little more keyed into fantasy football, both sides of the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't watch only offense. If you watch football, you are literally watching every single defensive snap. You could be playing fantasy football on that side of the ball too. Don't fuck it up. Do it. And if you haven't done it yet, do it next year. It's all good. All right. So like I said, we're going to talk about my rankings a little bit. I do this every year around this time of the season where I'm like, look, rankings. I do the rankings on Fantasy Pros because I feel like it's like almost like a responsibility, like a social responsibility to put them on there. The world know we exist, but the reality is you don't have every offensive or defensive player on your team, so it doesn't really matter how they rank out. Projection models will give the best possible outcome, but you only have the players on your team, and you have to decide who to play. So it's Saturday afternoon, late this week. Again, it's been wild around here, but we'll be back tomorrow morning with the IDP, our Sunday morning live. That'll be at 11 Eastern. Be me, Billy. I don't know who else is going to be there tomorrow, but let's go ahead and start getting to y'all's questions here, and then we'll pull up the rankings a little bit. What up, Jared, my guy? How you doing? All right, Blake Martinez, is he worth starting? Interesting that you would go straight to starting. I'm probably not going to start him this week unless I absolutely have to. Let me pull up my linebacker rankings here, see where I have old Blake Martinez this week. Yeah, and be sure, like I said, like and subscribe to the channel if it's your first time here. If you're listening to the podcast, we appreciate you. 5-star rating and review goes a long way. So does a quarter a day. All right, I'm going to pull up the linebacker rankings. 1 second. Where do I have old Blake Martinez this week? Yeah, I still have Blake Martinez pretty low in the rankings. I want to see how things shake out this week. Looks like Shaq Leonard's going to be out. Looks like Zach Cunningham is definitely going to be out. Michael Walker looks like he is going to be back in the fold, so I'm bringing him up my rankings a decent amount. Honestly, I don't see Blake Martinez anywhere really in the starting category. I'm at linebacker 30, 32, 38. His name's still not popping up. I don't even know if he's made it into maybe he's out at the bottom, but he's probably not somebody you're going to want to play this week. Stashing? Yeah, definitely going to be stashing Blake Martinez. Why wouldn't you? We have a long runway, a long history, a long resume of Blake Martinez. Put up like 140 tackles and like 18 plus impact plays a season. Never really got hurt until this last year. So definitely worth stashing in my opinion. All right, Jared Avis got a tough one. He says, Cup on a bye, Hollywood out injury. I got to start 2. All right, we got a little offensive question here early. Jacoby, Dubs, Renfro, Garrett Wilson, Wandale. Also need to start a running back in the flex, thinking Mostert, but I probably grab Algier or Foreman. I would probably go Foreman. We know he did really good last year when he came in as a backup for Derrick Henry. So he, to me, seems like the guy you're most likely going to get your actual upside with. Second to that would be Mostert. And then as far as your running or your starting wide receiver fellas here, I'm probably going to go with the rookies, Garrett Wilson and Wandale. I don't like Jacoby Myers. I have a bias against him. I don't want to put him in my lineups. Romeo Dubs, I'm not really trying to watch that either. And Renfro has not been getting anywhere near the targets he got last year. So you have to adjust. Garrett Wilson, we have a lot of unknown upside. Plus, we know that Elijah Moore didn't travel with the team. He won't be playing this week. So there will be targets to go around for Garrett Wilson. So I definitely want him in my lineup. Says I also have CMC, so I may have to play one. You need to be playing CMC. I don't understand. It's kind of funny. I tweeted this out earlier, like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I don't remember exactly what it was, but whenever Kenyon Drake went from Miami to the Arizona Cardinals, he moved. That trade happened on like a Monday. He played that Thursday night for the Cardinals, and everyone in Fantasyland was like, "Don't play him. He's not going to be good. You can't do it. You can't trust him." Okay, remember this is Kenyon Drake. The Arizona Cardinals gave that guy like 18 touches, I think, that game. He was their bell cow running back. He looked really good. He scored a lot of points. I think he was running back 3 on that week, if I'm not misremembering. He was a top 3 running back. He was 1, 2, or 3 that week, and almost nobody in Fantasyland played him because all the analysts on Twitter said don't do it. If you don't sit CMC. I've seen people talking about maybe putting CMC on their bench. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. The stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. I've heard a lot of dumb shit. Don't bench CMC. Also, if you're on underdog, right now his projection is 0. So if you go into the Battle Royale tournament or if you go into any of the tables where you're sitting, just playing man-to-man, 3-man, 6-man, whatever, his projection is 0, which means you can get Christian McCaffrey on a much better offense with a much smarter coach for free. Okay? So there's a little alpha for you. Go drop all your money into CMC this week on underdog. Come back. Let me know how it comes out next week. It'll probably be pretty good. Probably pretty good. Don't tell anybody that now. Secrets. All right. All right. Infinite possibilities. Good to see you, brother. Duvernay, Algier, Lockett, or Donovan Peoples-Jones. Choose 2 players. If you have punt return yards, obviously Duvernay is going to be in the mix. I don't know if you do or not. I don't know why people don't play with more punt return yards. Because it's part of the game. You get the field, right? If you get those yards, you get the field. But assuming you don't have that, this is an awful group of guys to pick from. But I'll probably go Algier and Lockett. I don't really have a lot of confidence in Lockett, but how many snaps did Blake Martinez play last week? You know what? That's a good question. Give me 1 sec. I will look it up because I can do that in the index very quickly, or give us at least a close estimate to what he played last week. All right. Well, he didn't play any last week because he's on the Raiders, right? Yeah, so he didn't play any. 0. And the week before that, I don't have anything in there. I don't even think he was signed then. So this is his first week out there. Frank Hernandez, how you doing, bro? He says, should I be starting Woolen in my flex? No way he keeps us up, right? We had this exact same conversation last year with Trevon Diggs. Just start him. Just do it. Just do it. Ride the wave. It hasn't crashed yet. I know that's not like thoughtful or deep analysis, but it's like sometimes it's just that easy. You either play him or you don't. Just do it. If it doesn't work out, so be it. Infinite possibilities again says Mike Hilton, Jack Jones, or AJ Terrell. Choose one. AJ Terrell's kind of interesting this week. I don't know how they're going to work him with Atlanta, but I imagine they'll probably have him shadow Jamar Chase, which kind of makes me feel like that, T. Higgins will be a little bit of a play, but he's also got his ankle injury. And then it's like, who is the actual one there? Is it Higgins or is it Chase? So I think that AJ Terrell could have some decent, potential to put up some big numbers this week. So I might go AJ Terrell. All right, Jared Abbott says drop Shaq Barrett because he hasn't done much for me. Yeah, I know. I got him in a couple of spots. Got Gary and Jonathan Allen starting. Hunter on the bench, but looking for more depth. Is Derek Brown of the Panthers worth any? I would put Shaq Barrett back on your team before I put Derek Brown on your team. Even though he's been a slow start, he's still Shaq Barrett. He's going to do more than Derek Brown by the end of the season, I imagine. Is Luvu in or out? I don't know. Let me see here. See if I can pull this up for y'all. Let's take a peek. Is Luvu in or out? So we're on the linebackers. And like I said, go to idparmy.com and you guys can see my rankings. Looks like he's still questionable. I got him at linebacker 24 going into the week. Noon kickoff time, so we will know tomorrow morning what's up with him. So that's at least we got that. You know what I'm saying? Quinnen Williams versus Derek Brown, or start both. Give me Big Q. He's a beast. They're both okay. I mean, if you're doing a D tackle league, I mean, it's still Big Q, but it's just Big Q. He's got he's a little bit more dynamic, and that's not like shade at Derek Brown, but it's just the facts. Infinite possibility says Jay Robinson, Algier, or Aaron Jones. Choose two to play. Man, it's wild that Aaron Jones has really not been that good for people, but I get it. I still think you gotta play Aaron Jones, though. Unfortunately, that's the problem when you put guys like that on your team that are kind of like with the volume, and if things start going south, you just get kind of stuck playing them. Ayuk or Robert Woods? I don't know. Again, with CMC moving over to the 49ers, and Ayuk, he's been good the last couple of weeks, but I mean, we kind of know this is the thing with Kyle Shanahan. Anybody on that team can be amazing. It just depends on if Shanahan wants them to be or not. That's just it. George Kittle, if he throws him the ball a bunch, he's going to be amazing. If Ayuk throws him the ball a bunch, he's going to be amazing. Debo gives him a lot of touches, he's going to be amazing. Kyle Shanahan, looking rough these days. I did watch a press conference yesterday. Last couple of years have not been nice to that man. But he's still the same Kyle Shanahan. So Ayuk's probably had his 2 good games of the season. Like, we'll probably forget he exists after this. So I'll just play Robert Woods. And even as I'm saying that, I feel like I'm going to throw up. I would play Ayuk still, but only because I don't want to play Robert Woods. Never, like, it's not like shade at Robert Woods, but it's just like the team he's on is like, what's his absolute upside? 14 points. Is Hufanga safe to play? I mean, if he's in, you got to play him. He's one of the best defensive backs in the NFL right now, period. Bruce Warren says, love your content, bud. Keep it rolling. Appreciate that. Like I said, very late this week. It's been wild around here. But we're here. We're doing it. Like I said, I think this is a little bit more useful, helpful than rankings. I mean, you can go to the website, idparmy.com. You can see my rankings if that's what you really want. You know what I'm saying? Like, the list is right there. But I like helping people put people in and out. Sit one. Pitt one, Mike Evans, and Waddle. Listen, people probably hate me because of my Pittman take because I fucking hate Pittman. So I said don't play him last week. I think he's like wide receiver 1. We don't want to talk about that. But I still don't want to play him. I'm still sitting him. Big Mike is my guy. Jalen Waddle, he's becoming my guy. Michael Pittman, I'm still like, I just don't want those problems. Even if he's getting a lot of targets. And again, it's the way he wins. Like, I mean, it's Doug Baldwin, it's Golden Tate all over again. You know what I mean? It's like there's nothing, like these teams aren't winning. He's not like a game-changing wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like, he might get you, and it just depends on what you're really in it for. Like, maybe he will get more points, but it's going to feel gross. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't care. I don't know. I don't know if that's right or wrong. Sometimes I think of, about fantasy and like how I choose to play. But I don't want guys on my team that I just don't like their style of play. It's just that simple for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want Tyler Boyd and Golden Tate and Doug Baldwin and Michael Pittman and Danny Woodhead and Dion Lewis, if those are your kind of guys, Matt Ryan, if you have fun on Sunday managing that team, good for you. That's not how I play fantasy. I'm not here to fucking torture myself. Infinite possibilities. Everyone like, share the show. Great. Let's grow the fam. Appreciate that. Yeah, grow the army, IDP army. It's not me, it's us, it's we. Whole squad on that real shit. Speaking of which, we are bringing on, drum roll, Iggy. If y'all follow Iggy Fantasy Sports and Betting on Twitter, good dude, great fantasy mind, great sports betting mind. Interesting guy, interesting cat. Got to meet him IRL at the expo. He is joining the squad. He's joining the IDP Army for real. It's written in blood. We're on the up and up as always. So appreciate everyone who was with us since the beginning. So it was just me, saying now if you find me and you're like, yeah, I kind of like this guy, there's other options, but I'm the best. All right, thoughts on ETN? He was on my do not draft list. He's at like 55 or 60% of snaps, and people are like rejoicing. Like, he's still Travis Etienne, he's still on the Jaguars, not a great team. Is 55, 60% of snaps really like rejoice worthy? I don't know. I think that he's a middle of the pack running back too. That's what I think. I think if he got more touches and stuff like that, he's like a Miles Sanders type, but not the Miles Sanders this year. The Miles Sanders we've been dealing with, not the good one. Well, you know what I'm saying. Travis, not good to see you, brother. He says I have Hurts and Cousins on bye. Yeah, I'm in bye week hell right now. Russell Wilson hurt. That's probably a godsend. Heineke is my only QB. Should I start Swift in my flex spot or pick up Rippin? LOL, shaking my head. So I'm guessing it's a super flex spot. Man. I would probably Rippin. Who's he? Who? What is he playing? Who's he playing for? Is he on Denver? I would probably just put in Swift in my super flex spot, if I'm being honest. Who are you actively trying to trade off of your team? Which players are you trying to acquire? Good question. Honestly, I'll sound like an asshole saying this, but I'm not really trying to trade for or away anybody right now. I kind of did a lot of those trades in the offseason. I try to set my teams up to where I don't have to like go doing that stuff in the offseason. Like, I just post something on our TikTok and on Twitter. Like, literally the week that Josh Jacobs, the first week of the preseason, when he was getting all that work, and everybody on Twitter, again, I just referenced Twitter, was like, oh, McDaniels is trying to showcase him. He's getting rid of him. Like, that was the only possible thing that was happening. In my mind, I was like, Daniels wants to figure out what he's got here. He's trying to give this guy an idea of how he's going to play him. He wants to see it through. So I traded Mike Williams straight across for Josh Jacobs. So in the time when that happened, it was a big no-no. Like, you weren't supposed to get rid of Mike Williams before the season started, but it feels good for me. Another thing I did in the offseason, I traded away Deebo Samuel. I got some players back for that I think are good long-term. It seems to be working out. So there's not a lot, honestly, trade-wise, and I'm in the market for or even messing with. I try not to, and there's a psychological part of trades too, where just sending trades out automatically kind of makes you look like the guy who wants the trade to happen. So I just kind of chill. Funny, the guy who I traded Mike Williams to literally tried to trade him back to me. That's like my best friend from way back in the day. Good dude. Shout out to Josh. But I'm chilling. Like, literally, my teams look good. I'm feeling good. I hate to be that guy, but it's just like, I feel like my teams, I get my shit sorted out in the offseason, and I'm just like kind of ready to go. So there's not really anybody, honestly, that I'm looking at. Now, I have thought about making a play for Jamar Chase. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think we need another week or two of just like 12, 13, 14-point games in there. Then I'll be making some moves. But we got to wait and see. Bobby Okereke or Alex Singleton. Isn't Josie Jewell supposed to be back? That's like what I heard. So I would be a little concerned with Singleton. I'd probably just stick with Okereke. But if Josie Jewell's not playing, play Singleton. Jonathan Owens worth keeping long term. I don't know. I'm assuming dynasty, if you need to drop him, always be willing to drop a player if you can find a better player. But he could be. I don't know. We'll have to kind of see how things go the rest of the season. Brad Gilbert says, any thoughts on whether the Lions swap Rodrigo with Anzalone coming off their buys? That's actually a really interesting thought. I have not thought about that really. Rodrigo has been doing has been doing really good. Honestly, even with the playing fewer snaps than Anzalone. Again, he's a young dude, I think rookie, right? So I mean, maybe Anzalone is a vet. I mean, that's basically all I really know about him. He's a vet. So look, it's possible. Either way, though, they're both have been very valuable for IDP and fantasy this season. And now that their buys are out of the way, you have that kind of security with both these players. So it's an interesting thought. We'll find out tomorrow, I guess, right? Travis Knott, yes, super flex. Yeah, I think there's a reasonable. I think it's reasonable to want to play Swift over Rippon. I really do. Because I mean, it's another thing in fantasy. It's a late round quarterback and all that stuff's all dead. Late round quarterback doesn't exist anymore. It's the haves and the fucking have-nots at quarterback. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I played PJ Walker last week, like 2 points. I've been playing fucking Baker, 12 points. These are in super flex spots. Playing fucking who's the other guy that sucks that I've played? Mitch Trubisky, 12, 13 points. It's not fun. Okay. Late round quarterback's dead. I got 3 of them. Nothing. Garbage. Trash. Get them out of here. Fantasy football is changing. It's evolving. Make sure that you get all the positional advantages you can get on your team. Because it's about your starters. It's about your starters. It really is. Pay up. Pay up. Elwood already stashed Rodriguez good. I mean, you should have been playing him too. I mean, before the bye week, he had as many tackles as Bobby Wagner. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that. Brad Gilbert, Malcolm is blitzing better, but less than Alex. Alex covers metrics or whatever, but he covers less. All right. Something to watch. And who do they play this week? Who do the Lions play this week? It's a pretty good matchup for whoever's playing them. All right. Humbravinder says, I know it's only been 4 games for Thibodeau, but Thibodeau greater than Hutchinson. Yeah, that seems to be the general sort of takeaway. I agree. I mean, Hutchinson he's good. He's a Max Crosby type of guy. You know what I mean? Whereas Thibodeau looks like he might be a little closer to the old Nick Bosa type of pass rusher. We'll see. Wentworth Scribner says, do I start CMC or Najee this week? Because CMC won't get too many snaps. How do you know that? Did Kyle Shanahan text you, say CMC won't get many snaps this week? No, you don't know that. No one knows that. Okay? Some guy with 20,000 followers probably said that because he wrote it in an article. And he clickbaited you into it. And he said, this is the most likely scenario. Based on what? Your best guess? His best guess? Come on, guys. It's not rocket science. Don't start Najee. And don't assume CMC is not getting that many snaps. Dallas, yeah. This is going to be an interesting game because Dak's first game back, he gets a pretty weak-ish defense. His defense is looking hot, so we have to assume he's going to get some decent field position on a couple of these possessions. I'm interested to see what happens with CeeDee Lamb. I'm really interested to see what happens with Gallup this week. And I'm honestly just really interested in how Dak plays. Coming in and he played a little bit that first week, but we're a good chunk of the way through the season. Like, teams are kind of showing who they are. The rhythm is kind of kicked in. Dak's a little late to the party, but he's Dak. He's a legit quarterback. So it'll be interesting. I'm glad he kind of gets we'll call it a layup matchup, because I think the Lions are mean. Like, the Lions are hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were already kind of a scrappy team, and now they're hurt. So they're going to do their best to fuck him up. We'll have to see how it goes. Mac Munger says, my QBs suck. Just traded DJ Long Jr. away, or David Long Jr. away for Jimmy G. Man, I hate the Niners. Yeah, but honestly, with CMC, Ayuk, Kittle, Debo, I mean, you got to love Jimmy Garoppolo, right? For fantasy purposes. Yeah, I like that for you. David Long Jr., adios, brother. Jimmy G, it wouldn't shock me if he has, a handful of touchdowns this week. Honestly, Jimmy G went for is I'm slowly coming around on like unironically rooting for Jimmy G. Just because I'm also unironically like rooting against Kyle Shanahan because he annoys me. All right, y'all, hit me with any more questions you got. Like I said, I'm not going to run this one too long today because I'm going to be back tomorrow morning with the fellows. We will help you with all of your questions as far as starts, sits, trades, anything you got tomorrow morning, hit us up. Go to idparmy.com. You can see my rankings. They are up. They are updated as of yesterday. I'm going to do another sweep of them tonight and again tomorrow morning. But if you're on YouTube, you can kind of see here. Yeah, I'm still very high on Hufanga this week. Antoine Winfield's way up there as far as defensive backs. Let's take a look at my linebackers. Is that where I just was? I thought I was at DL. No, I was over here. Yeah, Quincy Williams being back. I did hear a few people out in the Twitter street say he had been dropped in their leagues. Man, if you can go pick if you were able to get him off waivers because somebody dropped him, you got yourself a super stud linebacker the rest of the way. The Williams brothers are making some noise, doing the family proud. All right, I got a couple more questions here, and I'm going to answer them. I'm going to try to keep this around 30, 35 minutes today, y'all, just because not a lot of people are probably going to actually be able to consume it, because this time tomorrow we're going to be neck deep in real football. In the shit. Brad Gilbert says, Yannick, 1 year. Does Indy roll with Pay and Dow going forward? Yeah. Yannick is what he is at this point. He's a journeyman. I mean, he's a mercenary defensive line player. And that just is what it is. Theo's metric are nice, but limited snaps today. Yeah, he's coming off a pretty big injury. And I don't know how I feel about their coaching staff. I think a lot of things not everything is going to be the same in Indy going forward, obviously. But young pass rushers like that, they will be. They'll be around for a while. Can we keep starting Devondre Campbell or should we move on? Has he been doing like exponentially worse than I think he has? I think I only have him in like 1 or 2 leagues, but still been starting him on a pretty regular. I think I've started him every week. Let's take a look here. What the heck? Oh, that makes me so mad. Sorry, it's not you guys, it's me. What do you have? Only 3 solos last week. No tackles for loss. No quarterback hits. Yeah, I mean, that's not exciting. 49 combined tackles on the season. Only 3 for a loss. Only 1 pass deflection, though. No sacks. No quarterback hits. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not the prolific guy that he was last season. I think you got to keep starting him, though. I mean, if I'm just being real. You're gonna feel bad if you bench him and like, you know what I'm saying? Who would you be putting on and who would you be playing ahead of him? That's my question, Travis. Like, obviously, if you have better options, play them. But Devondre Campbell has, he's not a name that we're just playing because he's a name. Like, he earned the right to be in starting lineups over a long stretch of time. 3 different teams. He's been very, very productive, very useful. A little bit of a lull here, like I said, but still 49 total tackles on the season isn't terrible. Through 6 games, only 3 tackles for loss, had 6 last year. The pass deflection, he hasn't really had any disruptive plays yet. So one could argue, he's got some positive regression coming his way, Travis. Brad Gilbert. So thoughts on IDP dynasty prospects in Atlanta, Troy, EB, and Malone. Yeah, Troy Anderson, get him on your teams. I picked him up in a dynasty league this last week. Hopefully he's on my team for a while now. He's somebody you definitely want to get a hold of because they're going to have to move on from. I mean, they already have. They've started moving on. Olakun's gone. Dion, Jones gone. Rashawn Evans, even though he just got there, he's a little older. So he's going to command more money, etc. Also, he's getting more wear and tear on his body, things like that. So they're going to skew younger. They're going to get different coaching staff. They're going to get, this team is not – the guys that are on the field, this unit isn't really I mean, they're not making any noise. You know what I'm saying? Like Yannick will probably play there next year. You know what I'm saying? So get the young guys on your team while you can. Oh, and somebody I forgot to mention, which is like pretty big and like a screw up on my part. I'm honestly surprised I didn't get yelled at in the comments. But Keanu Neal, he should have probably led the waiver wire show this week as far as pickups, because Logan Ryan's foot's messed up, surgery happened, so Keanu Neal went from being like a backup, kind of forgotten about player, to he's probably going to be a weekly starting, safety defensive back, and he plays for Todd Bowles, one of the guys who uses his safeties as weapons. You know what I'm saying? So on top of the fact that just being a safety, playing 100% of snaps, he's probably going to have pretty good, pretty high floor. With the coach that he has and the way that he utilizes his players, he's also got a higher ceiling than a lot of your sort of bread and butter tackle guys have. So Keanu Neal, if he is by chance still out there floating around on your waiver wire, he's a pickup and probably play this week if he's available to you. And I thought about that like almost as soon as I turned the show off the other day. It was my fault. Like I said, it's been a rough week, y'all. Not that y'all care. You see how weary I am? Aaron Kelly says, great stuff here. Is Olukun worth a target for a contending team? And if so, what is he worth? All right, that's a great question. I'm going to slide over here to the Ultimate IDP Index, and I'm going to see what I currently have for said Olukun valued as, and see if that needs to be changed or updated based on anything new. So, yeah, I need to mess with this. I currently have his dynasty trade value estimated draft pick as a second plus. Okay, so I am pretty high on Olukun in general. 27 years old. That means he's got a couple of years left ahead of him to get out there and make some noise. Playing 100% of snaps every single week. Has been a green dot where the last 2 weeks. I'm going to take a look at his contract here real quick, see how long he's got with the Jags. But as a contender, yeah, he signed a 3-year, $45 million contract. I mean, he's going to be around for a while on the Jaguars, so his situation shouldn't change too much. I think if you can get him straight up for a 23 second and you think he's going to put your team over the edge, I don't know who your other linebackers are, but if you're weaseling out, 4 extra points per game, 3 extra points per game, I think it's worth it. And the thing is with draft picks, and this is what I tell people all the time, you can trade for a draft pick back after you squeeze like 6-7 games of value out of this player. So theoretically, it's almost like you're renting or leasing. You're almost leasing that player. You know what I'm saying? If you think like that, because you're actually getting point value, and they get an asset that sits on their roster and can accumulate value over time as you get closer to the draft, but it's not actually helping them win yet. It's all unrealized potential. So, if you think about it like that, don't even think about it like I'm never going to get this second back. You know what I'm saying? And you are going to get points out of Olukun, knock on wood, assume he doesn't get hurt or something crazy like that. So I like that. And like I said, in the Ultimate IDP Index, I had his value right now as a second plus. So if you can get him flat across for a second, I like that. And it's going to help you win. Again, if it's going to be a difference maker, I mean, what's the ability to walk around what's the ability to hop into the group chat and just always be right? Yeah, I don't care what you guys say. I'm right. I won. I'm the best. It's definitive. Look, you see that little gold star? It's mine, not yours. I'm right. Come on. I'd give away all my first round picks for that, let alone 1 second. Evan Smith says, what's going on with JOK? Should I still be holding in Dynasty? Yeah, I mean, he, this offseason, even in offense, even in IDP, there are, people do the echo chamber is real. The Cody Barton echo chamber was very real. The JOK echo chamber was very real. The Carl Lawson echo chamber was very real. Thankfully, I didn't get trapped in those chambers. I kind of held those guys at a distance. I said, maybe, but I'm not necessarily fully buying in. Now, your question, what's going on with him? I don't know. They obviously don't trust him to take that next step and be that leader because they brought in Deion Jones. They obviously don't think Anthony Walker is going to be coming back anytime soon either. So should I still be holding a dynasty? Yes, you should. Because the powers that be, the NFL media, they love him. They love him. PFF used to love him. So his publicist will always get him a little bit of gas. He'll always be worth something. He'll always get another shot. So hold him in dynasty, yeah. I'm probably backing off, playing him if I have him. And that's the thing. Again, a lot of the times when you guys ask me these questions about these players like this, and like I'm not like bullshitting, but it's like I don't have those problems because like I practice what I preach. Like I don't have JOK anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some of these guys. When I tell you guys I'm not fucking with these players, like I'm really not fucking with these players. I'll play across from them. Feels good. Feels good to look at my line and be like, oh, I get to play the guy that has Kyle Pitts, Travis Etienne, JOK, Cody Barton. Who else you got over there, dumbass? Oh, he's got Matthew Stafford. Woo wee. Yeah, that feels good to not be that guy. To be the guy who looks across at that. That feels great. Like I said, I practice what I preach. Brad Gilbert again says I drafted Troy Anderson, handcuffed for Evans, was a smart move, especially now given the fact that he seems like he's rolling out there. Although I did say Michael Walker is kind of back though, so Anderson with that 100% snap share though, just like that, he had a good game. And that'd be stashed Christian Harrison and Pascal on the IR, and they should return soon. Thoughts on the likelihood to get into games this year? That's a lot of guys just gonna have as hopeful, plug and play guys. But again, dynasty situation, it's smart, I mean, what else are you gonna do with those spots? Keep them, and if somebody else emerges, these are the guys that are probably the easiest to move on from. So I like it. One of my thoughts to get in games this year. I mean, what do you got? 1, 2, there's 4 guys there. I'd say you have pretty good odds to get 1 or 2 of them in at least once or twice the rest of the season. With bye weeks coming up, with injuries, even guys breaking out post bye. Like I said, somebody brought it up earlier. Sometimes guys will lose their starting job to younger players post bye. Shake things up. So yeah, I like it. Keep it. I think likelihood, I'd say 50-50 on all of them. You probably hate that answer. Moomin hasn't hit 20% of snaps, went down last week. Olafin was looking safe for the whole year. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Appreciate the honesty. Thanks. Hey, I mean, again, like, that's the thing about being honest. Like, you don't have to be scared of nothing. Like, there is no aha moment. This fantasy receipts account. Oh, good Lord. If y'all are on Twitter, this account is so funny because you can tell who's insecure and who's full of shit because they don't like that fantasy receipts account, which for me is like, fucking dunk on them and me. Like, did y'all watch the league? You know what we're doing here? Come on, have some fun. Like I said, like I try to be honest because I don't want to be hiding anything. Like I said, like I have nothing to hide. I know I'm a flawed human being. Not all my leagues are 6-0. My Bash league is not so subtle flex, but I'm human too. I have Kyle Pitts on a dynasty team, guys. I do. On one. Start 2 tight ends, tight end premium, and he's only made my lineup once this year. Mo Alley Cox has made it way more. Will Disley's made it way more. I got some other scrub ass bitch. Oh, Harrison Bryant's made it more. Golly gee willikers. All right, Lincoln was here. What's up, Lincoln? He says, just traded Alec Pierce, Bellinger, a 23 first and 23 second for Kenny Pickens, Najee, Kenny Pickett, Najee, Pickens. So you going all in on the Steelers. My picks, I traded will be late, probably 112. I still earn an early second, but thoughts on the trade? Okay, so you have Pierce, Allen, Bellinger. I mean, I love that trade for you. You got Najee and Pickens, both positional players, both. I mean, Najee's a little older, but still only his second year. Wear and tear is kind of low. And Kenny Pickens is going to on the up and up, in my opinion. I love that trade for you, man. And I don't blow smoke up people's ass. But I'm a Steelers fan, so. But those guys are all new Steelers, so it's like I'm not even really fans of them. Fuck, I've only seen a couple of them play like 20 minutes football, really. My QBs are old, so I'll eventually use Kenny. I have Tom, Carr, and Matt. Yeah, Matt Stafford. Tom Brady, I'm not retiring anytime soon. Dude looks old. Dude looks old. Sorry, brother. I got an older brother in his 40s too. He looks like you, old. Carr, he's a goofball, but he'll be around a lot longer than I probably want. All right, haha. Second Sig, tell us to beware of the drum beats. He warned us about the echo chambers. Got to figure out which drums are beating in the echo chambers. Yeah, I mean it's tough sometimes. I mean, it's really not though. I mean, sometimes it's so obvious, like when people say things, and it's just like, I don't know. I'm gonna take a sidebar here for a second. Shout out to my man, Fantasy Football Hustler. He's the one who put me onto this. And actually, go look at Dave. Well, y'all, Dave Kluge's another homeboy. He put out some tweets the other day too about Benjamin. A lot of the people that comment on football do not watch football. I know that's hard to like. And it's probably like something some of you are like, what? They don't. They might watch Red Zone. They might watch one or two games. But literally, some of these guys out here who talk football nonstop ad nauseum, if you look at what they say and you compare it to what your own eyeballs see, if you actually watch football, you can literally tell they do not watch football. My man 420 Hustler is the one who put me on this like 2 years ago. He's like, bro, I was on the show with these guys and they told me they don't even watch football. He's like, and I started paying attention to these other guys, like, they don't watch football either. He's like, I can tell. And he's right. Dave Kluge said something the other day. People were like, oh, Benjamin. And Dave was like, if people are actually excited about Benjamin, like if they're saying that in earnest, I have to wonder if they actually watched the game. They didn't. Okay. This is what happens when you get stuck behind these computer screens and your spreadsheets and your WOPRs and your EPAs and your WEVs and I don't know what the fuck ever else these people are making up out here. Okay. But sometimes you just get lost. You do. It becomes too contrived. Don't do that. Okay. Watch football. Take it, be okay being wrong. You get a little more upside when you're right. All right. Sasha Bandari, good to see you. Always get a question or two from you when we're around. Is Hufanga going to play this week? I don't know. I have him as number 3 on my rankings right now. I hope he does. I mean, I would love to see him get some defensive player of the year pub. Like for real. Now that McCaffrey's there, now that Trey Lance is out of the way, if this team can actually start putting together some stuff, Hufanga and Nick Bosa should both be getting some good pub for defensive player of the year. If he doesn't, should I start Chuck Clark or Jonathan Abram? I'd probably start Chuck Clark over Jonathan Abram. Let's double check the rankings, see if they agree with that statement. And I said I would be out of here at 35 minutes and we're at 42. This is my problem. I'm addicted to fantasy football in all forms. All right, so Chuck Clark. I got Chuck Clark at 16. Then who's your other guy you were asking about? Abram. Where do I got Abram on this list? A bit lower, it looks like. Looks like I got Abram a little too low at 32. Well, he does play Houston. I don't hate that spot for him. Yeah, like I said, Chuck Clark is the play. That was my initial reaction. Looks like my rankings reflect that. All right, I'm going to answer the rest of the questions in this sidebar. Then I got to go because my wife's got to go to work. And guess what? If y'all would subscribe to this channel and if you would join the Patreon, my wife wouldn't have to go to work. I could just do this forever. Okay? This is your fault. Who do I start? Bateman, Keenan Allen, or Pickens? This is the guy who I want to beat really bad. Okay. Well, then you don't start Bateman. Man, this is fucking tough. I probably start Keenan Allen. Man, that's a tough group to pick from first. I know that feeling when you're like, this is the guy. Like, it doesn't matter if I win the league at this point. Like, this is going to feel like 90% of that. I start Allen. More volume passing, better quarterback. He's coming off the injury. Pickens is still a rookie. Quarterback's a little And then Bateman, I mean, Lamar's barely throwing the ball. I mean, he's getting like 14, 15 fantasy points a week. And it's off of like 70 rushing yards. And he's not even scoring a lot of fantasy points with those rushing yards. He's getting like 15, 18 points because he's not throwing the ball. People massively undervalue actually what the fuck people are supposed to do in football, which is throw the ball. Uh-oh, someone's knocking on my door. I think that's my daughter. What's up, baby? You want to give me a kissy? Okay, you come in here, give me a kissy. Can't open the door. say hi to everybody real quick. Matching Mahomes jerseys. Say go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Not a girl. All right. I'll be done in just a minute, okay? Okay. Go, Allen. All right. I'm going to speed around these. Sasha again. Sachin. Sorry, my guy. Swift doesn't play this week. Should I start CEH or Pollard in full PPR? Start CEH. I know it's back and forth, but it's still the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Like, he still has multiple touchdown upside. He was this close to 2 touchdowns 2 weeks ago. His floor is low, but his ceiling's high. By the way, Bellinger is worth a bit more because it's a 1.5 tight end premium. That stuff's not. I don't need him. I own Kelsey. Yeah, that stuff doesn't. People way overemphasize tight end premium. Okay, here's the thing about tight end premium: if all the tight ends get a premium, then what difference does it actually make? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, I mean, the positional value difference comes over the other positions, not other tight ends. I hope that makes sense. And that's something that I feel like nobody explains very well in Dynasty World. They're like, oh, and a 1.5 tight end points per reception, I would do this. And I'm like, it doesn't change anything because all the tight ends in that league are valued the exact same way. All right, Anthony Bowser. Cody Barton with solid starts for Seattle, has been going 3 safety sets. We're almost done, baby. Thoughts on Ryan Neal? Pick him up and play him. What QBs do I start Saturday, tomorrow? Tom, Matt Ryan, Carr, or Kenny? I would start Carr and Tom. Either Sean Elliott and Cameron Curl. Should I swap one out for Keanu Neal? I might swap Keanu Neal out for Cameron Curl. I probably would do that, actually. I'll share the blame today, Jordan. I don't catch many live shows. Thanks and take care. Hey, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just giving y'all hell. Just razzing you a little bit. I appreciate it. You don't have to watch the live to contribute. You know what I'm saying? Any play, any like, any everything makes a difference. Just being here makes a difference. Even if you're in the even if you're not commenting, makes a difference. Appreciate it. All right, last question. Lincoln was here. He says CMC, Najee, or Elliott. CMC, easy. Don't overthink it. Okay. Don't fucking listen to this noise out here. It's like, CMC's only got a small package. Come on. Again, this isn't rocket science. He has like the best running back coach, basically. He turns dog shit into fucking gold every single week. Now you give that guy the best running back in football. I don't care if he touched the ball 12 times. He's going to be a running back one this week. Like, there isn't a more wet dream scenario for Christian McCaffrey in the world, okay, than being put into a Kyle Shanahan offense with a subpar quarterback. I mean, like, what better scenario exists for a running back? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that scene from South Park, you know, where they go out to get the internet. You know, Stan's dad goes in there. Like, that's what's about to happen. Subbed and liked. Good. Happy to have you, Lincoln. Thank you from Bruce. Thank you all for being here. This is the IDP Army Fantasy Football Podcast. We have offensive points. We have Iggy Sports Betting. We have Mace doing his stuff. We have Bomber doing his thing. We'll be back tomorrow morning. There'll be some of the boys will be here. Make sure you listen to the podcast feed as well. We're going to be adding a second podcast feed because we're getting into we're starting to overlap our shows. We have so many. We have NFL draft and college football content. We have sports betting content. We have obviously dynasty stuff. We have IDP stuff. So we're trying to keep our feeds a little bit less cluttered. So we're going to be adding, we have a second feed. Some of you may or may not remember when we did the underdogs on that and some other stuff, but we're going to be rebooting that up shortly. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, like I said, hope to see you all here again tomorrow morning. Like, subscribe, join the Patreon for a quarter a weekday. You can make a difference in my life and make fantasy football better. All right. Peace.